Casey Dykes. Trying to break a nicotine addiction is as difficult as trying to break a cocaine addiction. This information comes from Asim Marshira, the head of the Department of the Surgical Oncology Program at the Tata Memorial Hospital in India. This was published in the Indian Journal of Medical and Pediatric Oncology in 2015. Everyone in this room knows someone who has vaped who is also under the legal age of nicotine consumption. The Minnesota Department of Education should require all high schools to teach their students the problems of vaping in their health curriculum. First, I will be talking about the problems that have arisen from vaping in our society, and then I will be talking about the solution to this problem. Let's start by talking about why vaping has become such an abused substance. There are a variety of harmful effects that can come from vaping. A lot of people are under the impression that vaping is healthier than smoking cigarettes. One reason, according to Dominic Palazzolo, the professor at the Department of Physiology at the Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee, published in the Frontier Health Journal in 2013, is because there is no tobacco in the nicotine cartridges of vapes. What happens when a vape is sucked into is an atomizer will heat the liquid inside to a vaporized state, where the user will then inhale the liquid and then exhale. Another reason that a lot of people think it is less harmful is because there is no combustion reaction. In smoking cigarettes, the combustion reaction is what causes all of the harmful chemicals and ingredients to be ingested by the smoker. Vaping was also originally intended for adult use only. According to Eric K. Maloney, who has a PhD in quantitative social research at the University of Pennsylvania, published in the Journal of Health Communications in 2015, it was to help people who already have a smoking addiction become unaddicted and slowly wean their way off of those cigarettes. But instead, what has started to happen is more teens have become addicted to this nicotine. And in turn, that causes more teens to start experimenting with smoking cigarettes, and then they become addicted to those cigarettes. There are also a large variety of effects that can come from nicotine consumption. When nicotine enters the body, it passes through the blood-brain barrier, and it can reach your brain in 8 to 20 seconds. Within 2 hours, half of that nicotine has already left your system. The nicotine stimulates the adrenal glands, which makes the user experience a kick. It also releases dopamine and adrenaline, which makes the user feel focused and relaxed. While all of those things might not sound bad, when the user starts to decrease their intake of nicotine, they start to experience withdrawals. These withdrawals can be from anywhere like irritability, stress, moodiness, and lack of focus. Health-wise, it can also increase peptic ulcer chances. It can increase your blood clot risk in your heart and other large arteries, and it can also cause distressed sleep patterns. And there are many, many more. That is only a small list of what can happen. There are also a lot of other harmful effects that can take place. Because vaping is so new, there's not a lot of research that have actually been conducted. And of the research that has been conducted, it is all of the short-term effects that happen. It's so new that there's nobody even available that has vaped for a long time. Another thing that is very harmful with this health risk is that there's a chemical release that can cause popcorn lung. According to Joseph Allen, the assistant professor at the Harvard Education and Research Center, published in the Journal of Environmental Health Perspectives in 2015, diacetyl is a chemical that is released. In the vaping process, diacetyl is often used as an ingredient in the vaping juice. This is a flavoring ingredient, and a lot of the times exposure to this chemical can cause small holes to form in your lungs, otherwise known as popcorn lung. This is like having bronchitis for the rest of your life. Teens are also heavily influenced by vaping. All over social media, there is a ton of vaping advertisements everywhere. According to Rebecca J. Evans, the professor at the Institute for Social Research at the University of Michigan, published in the Journal of Adolescent Health in 2018, 7 out of 10 teens have been exposed to vaping advertisements on social media. People on these advertisements are sponsored by different small vaping companies to talk about their products in a positive light and do cool tricks that make teens more apt to try this product out. There are also a wide variety of flavors available, such as mango, cucumber, or strawberry, that can also help entice people to trying out this new trend. From my own personal experience, there is also a lot of social pressure. Even if someone isn't giving you a vape and saying, here, I want you to take this, when you're in a car full of other friends that all have a vape and are trying to do this, just out of wanting to feel cool or feel like I fit in a lot of the times, it's so easy to just say yes and give in to the urge. Now that we know all of these problems with vaping, I'm going to talk about the solution. Luckily, there is a desirable and workable solution. The Minnesota Department of Education should require all high schools to teach the dangers of vaping in their high school health curriculum. Currently, according to Mary Milder, who has a PhD of philosophy from the University of Iowa and is an administrator at the Minnesota Department of Education, published in the National Health Education Standards from 2007, these standards that are being put out by the Minnesota Department of Education are not required to be met. There's a quote in the standards that says that legislation is not required to be followed because districts are supposed to make up their own core standards. And not to mention that this journal was only in 2007, and that's over 10 years ago. This obviously needs to change. It should be required that in the curriculum there's information such as the information I am giving you today in this speech that should be put into these different health programs, and they should all be required to be met. If we start this now, we can stop the issue before it starts, depending on how young or old the classroom level are, and we can also spread awareness for the dangers that a lot of people are not aware of. First, I talked to you about the problems of vaping. Then, I talked about the solution. The Minnesota Department of Education should require all classrooms, the Minnesota Department of Education should require all high schools to teach their students the problem of vaping in their health curriculum. Next time you're in a car with friends and they're offering you a vape, be the person who sticks up for what you believe in and don't give in. Addiction is real. Whether it's for something like nicotine or something as extreme as cocaine, in the long run it is not worth your long-term health risks.